Welcome back to the channel. As we talked about in our last video, we really enjoyed traveling to Dublin. In addition to seeing things like the Custom House, the Epic Irish Immigration Museum, Grafton Street, St. Stephen's Green, and the Temple Bar area, we also saw much more. Our first order of business was to see St. Patrick's Cathedral. This building is located about 15 minutes walk southwest of Trinity College, directly next to the beautiful and lush St. Patrick's Park. This park, though small, was extremely well maintained and contained some beautiful plant and flower species. We visited in the early summer, so many of these flowers were still in bloom, giving the area a very tranquil atmosphere. The large fountain in the middle of the park was especially beautiful. It was believed that before the cathedral was built, St. Patrick himself baptized the first Irish Christians in a well right here in this park. Alright guys, well we made it to St. Patrick's Cathedral, one of the things you have to see if you're here, so we're going to go around and take a tour inside. As for the cathedral building, the current shape and size is believed to have been finalized in the early to mid 13th century. The building was constructed on the site of an ancient holy well that was used in the Middle Ages, likely used for both drinking, water, and baptisms. St. Patrick is the patron saint of Ireland, and he is memorialized with several churches, sculptures, and namesakes all over the island. St. Patrick's Cathedral is the national cathedral of the Church of Ireland. The building is a busy place that serves as a place of worship, a visitor attraction, and a host for many events. Catherine can't wait to go inside.
Yes, I'm running.
Yes. Inside the church there is a certain understated beauty. All of the churches we have visited in Ireland are very functional, but with beautiful arches, stained glass windows, and a simplicity that you don't find in many of the gaudy Renaissance churches of Europe. St. Patrick's is not only a functional church, but also a museum. This museum hosts a collection of several texts and artifacts from the area dating way back to the foundation of the church. The choir and transept are decorated with ancient helmets and regimental flags from years gone by, creating a very colorful and regal atmosphere. Over the years, there have been many famous benefactors and members of this church, including members of the Guinness family and author Jonathan Swift, writer of Gulliver's Travels. Now the church stands as a symbol of both religious devoutness as well as a memento of Ireland's storied and ancient past. Tickets to get into St. Patrick's Cathedral are €8 for adults and come complete with a pamphlet all about the building, as well as an audio guide for each of the several dozen attraction points within the building. If you ever want to see St. Patrick's, but do not want to pay an admission fee, you can also join one of the many religious services that take place in the building daily. Another area of Dublin that we visited was Trinity College. This college was founded in 1592 by the Tudor monarchy. The college was actually commissioned by Queen Elizabeth I herself, mainly for Protestant students. The college was modeled after the British Oxford and Cambridge universities and continues to share a close affiliation with those institutions. Walking around Trinity College, you do get a feeling that you are tracing the footsteps of many important people before you. The buildings are almost all built out of stone and marble, giving the grounds a clean and regal aesthetic. A bit further into campus, you will see one of the biggest attractions the college has to offer, the old library. This long building contains one of the most extensive collections of ancient texts in Ireland, hosting over 200,000 books in the library alone. One of these books is the famed Book of Kells. The Book of Kells is arguably one of the most famous early medieval manuscripts ever found, and it was believed to have been created in the 8th or 9th century. The pages of this manuscript contain extremely colorful illustrations of biblical figures and scenes, all in the Celtic style, and it cannot be denied that it's one of the most colorful ancient manuscripts in existence. The book contains 4 Gospels from the New Testament, as well as a few other illustrations and tables. This book is located within the long library, and there's even a museum showcasing several of the pages of this book below. Right besides this ancient texts are many other wonders from Irish history, including the oldest harp in Ireland, which is iconic and was used to create the logo for Guinness beer. And so now we just got done with our tour of the Book of Kells and the long library here at Trinity College. It's actually right behind us there. And that was okay. The long library was really, really cool, and just the overall history of the Book of Kells is interesting. It's expensive though. It's 18 euros a person. Not sure it was worth it for us. We like seeing the things rather than just sitting there reading about it. We could go on Wikipedia and read all about the Book of Kells. So just our thoughts. We didn't think it was worth it. But if you do like these kind of old libraries, the library was really cool. We continued around the area and passed many restaurants, shops, and other historic buildings in the Trinity College area. We even came across a statue of Molly Malone, a fictional woman made famous by a song of the same name believed to have been written in the 18th century. She is still lovingly nicknamed the Tart with the Cart, given the nature of her moonlight profession. Once again, we found ourselves in Temple Bar for a bit of dinner with some fine Irish cuisine. So Catherine went for the chicken pasta. And I got the beef stew. It all looks very good.
Yep.
How was your food?
Oh, so good.
It was really good.
So delicious.
The next day, we visited another church that was on our list of famous institutions to visit in Dublin, Christchurch Cathedral. This building is located about 10 minutes walk north of St. Patrick's and is on a small hill above the Liffey River and the Temple Bar area. This church is one of the two medieval cathedrals, the other being St. Patrick's, in Dublin, and is actually the older of the two. Christchurch Cathedral was founded in the 11th century and was rebuilt in stone in the 12th century. The cathedral is currently the seat of both the Church of Ireland and the Roman Catholic Archbishops of Dublin, an honor that shows just how important the church is to this city. Like with St. Patrick's, you get a very medieval vibe when walking through this church. The main floor of the church is very austere, and the altar and choir areas are very beautifully decorated with wood and stone. Underneath the cathedral, you can gain access to the crypts. The crypts here really do not feel like a basement of the church, but more like a series of caves with some stonework and masonry. Here you will find the museum for this church. This museum includes many artifacts and information about the church's history and founding. Of course, you can also find a gift shop down here as well. You can get a ticket for a self-guided tour with an audio guide for 10 euros for adults.
So we just walked through Christchurch and we really liked it. It was similar in style to the St. Patrick's Cathedral. We both agree that we really like more of the simplistic churches like these. There wasn't like gold or frescoes or anything, just very minimal, but very beautiful. Stonework
and stained glass windows, and then there's also a really cool crypt underneath that has a lot of cool history and pieces, from the ages. So it was really cool. We would definitely recommend this.
Yeah.
After getting our fill of historical churches, we decided to get our fill of a different type of attraction. Our first stop was the Guinness Storehouse, the main museum and visitor center for Guinness beer. For many people, Guinness beer is synonymous with the Irish experience, so we knew we had to take this tour. Saying that this is a brewery is a bit misleading. After all, no brewing takes place in this building. The tour can be better described as an interactive and visual experience that describes the ingredients of beer, the brewing and shipping process, the history of the Guinness family, a tasting experience, and a few other customized experiences that you can have depending on the ticket you purchased. We purchased a ticket that included access to the Guinness Academy. which is an experience in which a Guinness expert helps teach you how to pour the perfect pint of Guinness. After your perfect pint is poured, you are offered a certificate and that very same pint to drink along with your fellow classmates. In our group was a lovely couple from the US and a father and son from Amsterdam. Sitting and chatting with them about our experiences in Ireland so far was probably one of the highlights of our tour. Some of the other experiences that you can purchase are the Stouty experience, in which you're poured a pint of Guinness with your selfie printed into the head of the beer, and the Connoisseur experience, where a Guinness bar specialist will let you sample 4 of the most popular beers that have ever been brewed at the Guinness Brewery. After your experiences, all tours end in the Gravity Bar, a large bar on the top of the building with a 360-degree view of Dublin. Here you'll get a free pint with your ticket, and you can spend as long as you want gazing out the windows and enjoying your Guinness. Our experience costs about €35 per person, but you can take the regular tour without any of the additional experiences for only €26. After our Guinness tour, we made our way over to the Jameson Bow Street Distillery. How is it?
Really good.
Bow Street was one of the original locations for the distilling of Jameson whiskey before being moved to the countryside. Now this building has been renovated into a bar, shop, and tour center for Jameson. The tour itself lasts about 45 minutes, and it makes use of some pretty amazing technology. In this tour, you're able to learn about the history of Jameson whiskey, the Jameson family, and learn all about the distilling process. At the end of the tour, you get to taste and sample 4 of Jameson's most famous whiskeys, before going to the bar and getting another cocktail featuring Jameson. Alright, so we just got done with the Jameson tour. So it was a 40-minute tour where you basically learn the history of Jameson, and then also there was tasting. Mm-hmm. It was a really good tour.
Yeah, I think it was renovated in like 2007, and it was just really cool. The tour guide was amazing.
Yes.
Very, very like
engaging. Yeah, we were able to like see all the different processes that take place during the distillation process, mm-hmm. And it was a very interactive tour as well, where you could smell things and feel things before COVID, but mm-hmm. now you can't feel anything now. Mm-hmm. And then of course you get the tasting of 3 different Jameson whiskeys. It was actually really good.
Yeah.
It's expensive. It's very expensive. It's €25 a person, but we thought it was worth it. It was on par, if not a little bit better than the Guinness tour. So.
And you get a drink after as well.
Yes, so that I didn't know. You actually get a ticket for a mixed drink after the tour as well. We loved this experience, and we were actually surprised at how much we enjoyed it. Neither of us are big whiskey drinkers, but our guide and the tour setup made the experience extremely interesting, interactive, and fun. Our tour was called the Bow Street Experience and cost €25 per person. It's not cheap for a 45-minute tour, but it's a great experience nonetheless. So one of the things that we didn't really get to do in Dublin that we wanted to do was tour the Dublin Castle. And there's 2 different types of tours, which we didn't know originally. So there's the self-guided part, which is basically just a tour of the staterooms, because it is still a working castle, but some of the government still sits there. And then there's a guided tour, that is much more exclusive. They only have a few tours a day, it seems like, where they actually take you into the old parts of the castle and the chapel. And that's really what we wanted to see. And basically when we went there yesterday, they said it was all sold out.
And you have to buy them at the place.
You have to buy them at the place. You can't buy them online.
Yeah.
So hopefully they fix that soon, where you can actually buy those tickets online, because unless you get there within an hour of them opening, they could be all sold out. Mm-hmm. So just keep that in mind if you're coming to Dublin.
And you really want to see that.
Right. Because I wanted to see the old parts of the castle, but we didn't get to see that because we didn't get there basically in time. So good to know for next time. We love Dublin, but now it was time to get moving on to some of the other cities that this beautiful country has to offer. Join us in our next videos when we travel to the quaint city of Cork, see the breathtaking cliffs of Moher, take in the seaside town of Galway, and visit the historical village of Cove. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.